Good morning, everybody. Excuse me, more frogs. I am working soon, so this is just going to be a 10-minute meditation or pause for thought, really. So I was thinking it's the start of a new week, and it's obviously the start of a new day. So as I've said last week, the way we start the day, the way we start the week can make a huge impact on us. If we start on a downer, then obviously we may feel down all week. If we start on a positive note with positive affirmations, then it really can become life-changing. And one of the things that has recently come to mind, a very dear friend recommended a book, and there's so much common sense in there. And it's really funny because boredom's been mentioned. And I just think that there's a lot to be said for when we're bored, Do we challenge ourselves? Do we challenge ourselves to read? There's so many people out there who said to me, I don't read, I don't like reading. And I genuinely believe that one book can change your life. But whether you read or not, there are audio books, there are YouTube videos and things like that. But I wonder what it is that makes people bored. I wonder what it is that doesn't bring satisfaction to people. And of course, when we're bored, then the mind often starts, having its way with us and feeding the fear and making us upset. And, it can become quite challenging. So I think that the way we start the day is so important. Obviously, if we eat rubbish, we know that we feel rubbish. If we have a healthy breakfast, then, generally that healthiness is going to make us feel on a beautiful note. It's going to make us feel good. And, we associate food with a lot of guilt. I mean, food is about nurturing. So diabetes is obviously very often when we don't feel the sweetness of life. And many of you know that I've worked with diabetics, and 2 of them were completely sorted, But when we listen to the mind, when we listen to the body, when we listen to what we should be doing, so many of you approach me and say, my life passion, what is it? What should I be doing? What's my life purpose? I think in those moments when we're bored, if we do ever have any, it's about looking within, and all the answers are within you. Many of you know when I do the readings, I just tune into you, even if I'm doing telephone readings to the other end of the world. All I'm doing is listening and tuning into your DNA, to your soul, and to your heart. So what is it that makes us bored? Is it because we're so served these days with radio, TV, we've got blurb going on all the time? If you're bored, maybe use that time to challenge yourself. Maybe sit and meditate, maybe go for a walk, maybe do some Tai Chi, maybe do some yoga. And I just think that boredom can actually become so negative. It's really funny because, as I say, I was reading the book about boredom, and it's all about drug addicts. It's all about the drug addicts not wanting to be in their own quiet space. But how many of us become addicted to work, become addicted to alcohol, to maybe chocolate, to become aware of our own addictions and stop pointing the finger at somebody else, Because anybody who's addicted, be it alcohol, drugs, work, being a shopaholic is an addiction, Many people are shopaholics, and these days it's online. So are you aware mindfully when you're bored? Are you aware mindfully when you're doing something that maybe isn't serving you? And of course, reading through the book, which is amazing, it's full of case studies, I'll put it on Facebook later, then, the challenge is not to fill our time with things all the time, because then we get tired, we get worn out. But the drug addicts were saying that, they're bored and they do the drugs because anything's better than being in their own pain. I mean, obviously, as a therapist, I've treated a lot of people with pain, be it rape, post-traumatic stress disorder, goodness knows, soul fragmentation, abuse as a child. I could go on and on and on, and many of you know that I've had great success with them. But if, for me, I allow myself to get bored, and I rarely do, I just maybe pick up a book or meditate, or I'll go for a walk, or I just go outside and look at the trees and the grass with an absolute deep reverence and a deep, deep, deep connection. And I just feel that the ancients, I can't imagine that they ever got bored. They would play music, they would encourage each other, they would enlighten each other, they would empower each other. And how often do we empower one another instead of, criticising somebody else? Because so often we spend our days criticising ourselves. And of course, many of us can be our own worst enemy. We belittle ourselves, we criticise ourselves, we expect too much from ourselves. So, just as a start to the week, think about how you can be more kind to yourself, how you can use those moments where potentially you may have been bored. Because often when I work with people, when I'm life coaching them, and they say, well, I don't have time for this and I don't have time for that. And then when we actually look at the time they get up, we look at their habits. I talk about habits a lot, healthy habits, habits that are not serving you. How many of you have had a shower already, brushed your teeth, eaten a healthy breakfast, maybe done an exercise routine? How many of you start the day off healthy, or how many of you start the day off, different day, same old SHIT? So everything is a choice. We make about 70,000 decisions every single day. And I just wonder what your choices will be today. So I'm just sorry that this YouTube, broadcast is going to be quite short, really, because as I say, I'm working later. But it's such an important thing to start the week on a positive note, to maybe be open to something. I always remember my friend Jane, many years ago, her and her husband, every week they did something different. One week they would go to a different cinema, or they would try a different restaurant, or they would go somewhere in the lakes that was different to somewhere else they'd been. And of course, many of us get full of our own comfort blanket. Many of us might spend time whinging and moaning and being negative, or moaning about somebody else, or whinging about the past, or just being aware of our headaches and aches and pains, and what do we try and do about it, And of course, so many people, go to the doctors and they just want a quick fix. They don't even look at the side effects to the medication. But if we look to the body and we ask the body what it is that the body's showing us and why it's giving us pain, then it can be absolutely enlightening, because the body has all the answers that we need. So all I would say to you today is listen to your body, be kind to yourself, maybe look at your barriers and boundaries, look at the things that are limiting you. Susan Jeffers, of course, wrote that beautiful book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, because our fear will be guaranteed to hold back our soul purpose, our life purpose. I'm not talking about jumping out of an aeroplane, or, jumping off a mountain and doing something that's really, potentially dangerous. But maybe ring that friend that you've been meaning to ring for a while. Read the book you've been meaning to, look at, or start writing a book, or do some poetry. You'll find Stan Phillips on my Facebook wall. He's an amazing poet, and he is a gentleman filled with wisdom and positivity. And the truth is that none of us feel positive all the time. All of us face challenges, some more than others. It's where we are at the different times. So my advice to you today, and just for today, and this is the thing, because we tend to run with so many things, don't we? We tend to want to, well, I want to know what's happening in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And all any of us have right now is today. So just for today, be kind to yourself. Just for today, push barriers and boundaries a little bit. You don't have to do a lot. But, there are lots of YouTube videos out there on Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. Many of you are doing live yoga. Joe Easton, Alison Kilsley, and many others. So just for today, maybe for those of you that journal, think about that word boredom. It's so destructive. And like I say, having read the book about the drug addicts, and they all say, I do it because it's better than feeling the emotional pain, because when I'm bored, I feel the emotional pain. Be aware of your own addictions. Where are they? Are you a shopaholic? People have so many addictions these days. But be true to yourself. We all lie to ourselves at times. Well, I only had one piece of chocolate when we probably had 4, or I only had one coffee when we've had about 7. But when we lie to ourselves, the only person we're lying to is exactly that, ourselves. And, I just hope for those of you that are trying to better yourselves, I just hope that, this little piece of insight, as short as it is this morning, just helps you to remain focused, balanced and healthy, because health really isn't about physical health. It's about mental, spiritual and physical well-being. We need to be balanced emotionally, mentally, spiritually and physically, and we need to do something every day for all of those, or something that serves all of them. And for me, getting out in nature does just that. So whatever you choose today, choose it wisely, choose it with wisdom. Whatever you eat today, just check in the body, does it feel right to eat it, and just be kind to yourself. Do at least one thing today for yourself, be it reading a book, writing a letter to a friend, treating yourself in some way, shape or form with loving kindness, maybe having a salt bath with some Epsom salts, maybe going for a massage. But whatever you choose to do today, even if it's just putting on your lipstick and brushing your hair, even if you're feeling a bit rough, we all know that feeling when we've been poorly, and then, we do find that we can have energy again, and we're grateful for going out for a walk and the simple things in life. So embrace whatever it is today that you feel is right for you, and have a good one. Namaste. God bless. Bye.